How's it going, everybody? Pete here at Spawn Fly Fish, and today I want to show you one of my favorite searching emerger patterns, and I do call it a search merger just because it saves 2 seconds worth of letters. But as far as fun flies, this one's really fun to tie. It's pretty involved, and it's one of those, in order to make a messy looking fly, sometimes it's tougher than tying a clean fly, and this is going to definitely fit into that category. So grab your tools, grab your vise, and let's have some fun. Alright, everyone, so in the vise today, as you can see, this is a pretty sizable hook for a dry fly, and this is the Core 1167, which is the parachute dry hook, and this is a size 8. And again, I know it looks like a lot of hook, but there's going to be so much going on as far as what's tied in for this fly. In the end, it'll be just fine. So let's get some thread started, and today I've got some Uni 6/0, and this is Camel. Trim off that tag end. And so let's talk about this hook for just a second again. As you can see, if you were to tie on this forward 1/3 of the hook and tie a parachute here and everything else, what it's going to do is leave all this back portion to sit not only in the water but at an angle slightly down into the water. And for me, it just lends itself to a great opportunity for tying in something like a big emerger, and in this case, a big old Caddis emerger that is just full of all kinds of stuff, including the shuck and the legs and wings that have been tucked inside of that pupil casing, and now it's just all bursting once they hit the surface. So that's what we're going for. Easy for us to see on the water. You can fish it in fast water. Doesn't matter. It's not going to drown. And the fish absolutely love it. So let's get to the first component. Now this is going to be a new color that we have coming out soon from Spawn. I'm going to have a bunch of new colors of dubbing coming out. Hope you guys are ready for it. They're going to be great, and they catch fish like you wouldn't believe. So for this tailing shuck here, I'm going with what is known as Snicklefritz. And if you're watching this video on the 20th of April or sometime after that, you'll already know all this. So roughly a body length. I'm going to switch over to my offhand and place that where we tied our last little thread wraps there. And just tie this down all the way to where our last thread wraps were. And of course, this is going to emulate the casing or shuck of that pupa as it's hatching and it's trailing off so that the rest of the body can come out. Now, I'm not going to cut all this just yet. I'm going to build up a little bit of an underbody using that remaining bit of Simi seal. And just trim out that end there. And pretty simple so far. At this point, I'm going to start tying in my rib, and there are going to be 2 elements to this rib. The first, we're going to tie in some V-rib in olive, and this is size Midge. And then the second element, we're going to add some Veevus pearl tinsel. Also, this is medium. Let's get this V-rib started. And again, on the V-rib, there's going to be a point on one side, and that is the point or the side that we want to tie against the shank, so that when we turn it over and start wrapping up the shank as the rib, that curved portion will be facing outward and looks much more like a natural segmentation in a fly. There we go. Nothing crazy there. Just tied it in and cleanly finish it up at the front. Again, if we take our thread wraps all the way up every time, then we're going to have an even underbody for our fly. So now I've got some Veevus pearl tinsel. Get that started, and again, just going all the way back down so that there's no gap from one material to the next. And there we go. Our rib or ribs are tied in and ready to go. So let's look what we have here. A pretty established underbody for our abdomen, but we've left plenty of room for a big thorax, and there's going to be a lot going on up there. So we want to keep that as clean as possible. So where this natural flat spot ends on this parachute hook, that's going to be the absolute end of that body, if you will. So now let's make a little dubbing noodle here. And for this one, this is called Green Jeans, and that's Genes. Not the type that you put on to go out for the evening, but rather the ones that tell you what you are, what you're made up of. Just gonna get a nice little noodle here, and the first portion we're gonna work back, and then we're gonna come back on top and work back to the front again. So what will happen is, if you look at this noodle, I'm gonna be very conscious of a nice clean first portion to work my way back, because it's just to build up some body. And then for the return passes, I'm not going to twist this dub on quite as hard, because I want it to be buggy and scratchy and look unruly. Alright, so here, let's just wrap this back down the shank. And as you can see, just getting into that scruffy stuff that isn't quite wrapped as tight, and that's perfect. That's exactly what we're looking for. We're going to come back up. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more dubbing on here. And again, these scruffy, messy looking flies are a blast to tie, but contrary to what everybody thinks, sometimes they're tougher to pull off than a clean fly. Alright, I'm happy with that. We got this nice unruly body, little bits of red flash glinting out of those green jeans. Alright, so now let's take our Veevus Pearl Tinsel, and we're not doing touching wraps, but we're doing evenly spaced wraps. I'll try to leave this facing you so you can see here, but leave a gap, make a wrap. Leave a gap, make a wrap. And as you see, I'm slightly wiggling this to make sure it really digs in to that spawn Simi. And then simply tie it off. A couple securing wraps. Get that thread in front of it, pull back, and 2 wraps over itself. Then it cannot slip out when the fish grab it. Alright, now we have this Midge olive V-rib. And all we need to do now is follow right on top of our flash. So that pearl tinsel, get that V-rib right on there. Kind of twist and wiggle as you go to maneuver it in there. Alright. And now what we have is still that flash will show through, but if it were just the flash on there, it'd be pretty easy for a fish's tooth to get in there, and the next thing you know, your fly's coming undone a little bit. It's just not the same, but this adds a little bit of protection and strength to the whole deal. And there we've got a caddis body, fresh out of its case, and it's just juicy and so tempting to those fish. Alright, so now let's get into what we have left. Obviously we're going to have a thorax, we're going to have some hackle in there, but before we get to that, we're going to have an elk hair wing. But what I want to do is support this fly, one for extra flotation, and so I've got this foam underwing cut out, but what this is also going to do is act as a prop. And the important thing for this prop is not only to hold the wing up, it's the angle at which it's going to hold it up. And what it'll do is, by using that flat portion for the parachute, the way this hook is designed, it's going to give me all this body at a downward angle into the water. And so as this spawn Simi seal gets wet, it gets a little bit heavy, it's going to pull that body all the way down into the water. This is going to be our barrier on the surface, and those fish are going to see a lot of bug body, and they're definitely going to be interested in eating that. So let's take a look real quickly at how to cut this underwing. Alright, so here is our underwing, if you will. And how do we get to that? As you can see, I've got just a little rectangle of foam here, and from the base I'm going to create that crayon tip effect, but I'm going to truly elongate it, as you see there. And then I'll just turn it and repeat on the other side as evenly as I can. And once I've got that exaggerated crayon, I'll just cut straight across on the wider portion there. And now I've got this triangle. All I'm going to do is nip off the harsh corners up here. And so now I've got the top of a diamond look, and then I'm going to create a small slit in the middle. I'm not going all the way to the base because we need a tie-in spot, but once that's tied in, it'll flare out just slightly and look like the underdeveloped wings of an emerging pupa. Alright, so now we've got our underwing prepped and cut. What I'm looking for here as far as distance behind the fly is just past the end of the butt. Nothing crazy. Once I've got that positioned, I'll go ahead and tie this in. And one thing I really want to make sure is, one, I'm keeping this foam flat on top of this fly. That's very key. And the second thing is don't crowd that hook eye. So if you see I don't have a lot of excess foam here, and that's on purpose, I'm going to just simply tie that tag portion down, secure it with a couple X-wraps, and then I'm going to take a look at this underbody, and now we've got to get that foam back to where our dubbing is. Let's check the underbody, underside, and that's where we need to be. And if you recall, we really have not eaten up very much room of that thoracic region. However, we have built a fly that's going to float as long as you want it to. Alright, so much like your favorite cooking shows, we've got a little prep work done here. Namely, I have stacked a small pinch of elk hair. This is bleached elk hair from Hareline. And so now, if you look here, I've got this little guide system going. And all I'm going to do now is place that hair right on top of that underwing and just let those tips slightly go past the end of that underwing. Get a couple loose wraps here just for positioning, and then really start cranking down as you go back toward that foam. And make sure you work it all the way back. And if you've done that, let go. Let's see how our hair wing is looking. Looks pretty good. At this point, if you want, get in there, trim out any of the hairs that go over the sides. You can pull some of them up, but for now, this would be the best time, in my opinion, to go ahead and trim out the unruly ones. And you know, as far as these forward-facing butts, let's get in there a little bit with a bodkin and try to make some sense of this mess here. All right. Try to keep those separate. There we go. Now that I've got those in, we'll call it in control, let's go ahead and continue wrapping the rest of these toward the hook eye. We're not cutting these out because this is going to form that ever recognizable head shape of a caddis. Alright, not the cleanest head here, but we have scissors, so who will be the wiser? I don't think you guys are going to tell on me. Alright. Now, continue cinching down all those elk hair fibers. And at this point, when you're tying a regular elk hair caddis or anything, you typically wait to the very end to trim this head. But we have a lot going on in this fly yet, so I'm just going to go in here, one cut straight across, trim any of those that are being difficult, and there's our caddis shaped head all ready to go for us. Do a little housekeeping on a couple of these fibers I don't really care for, and we'll continue. Thank you for being patient. There we go. Not too bad. Alright, I finished cleaning that up with some thread wraps, and we are ready for a nice hackle. And today, for our hackle, I got some dry fly hackle off of a cape. This is from Whiting. And down at the base, I have trimmed out both sides but left fibers there to act as a mini comb, if you will, to catch that thread and make our tie-in that much stronger. So I'm going to tie that in to match up with the end or our finished spot of our wing, and that will be the beginning spot of our hackle. Just gently move that quill out of there and trim. Alright, and at this point we just got one more element to add, and then we'll wrap that hackle. You see these hairs being goofy down here? I don't like it either. Not an issue anymore. Alright, so for our last new color of dubbing, again, that's going to be coming out about 3 weeks now. This is Locked and Loden. It's going to have a bunch of your favorite olive tones, a little bit of brown olive, just all kinds of good stuff. And again, we're going to dub this thorax back and then forward over itself again. This one doesn't need to be scruffy. We're just giving the illusion of a darker thoracic region in the head area, all that good stuff. And it matches the rest of the fly while giving a slight gradient of darker toward the head. So let's see how far we get with this little bit dubbed on here. Again, don't go crazy. We're not trying to fill up a whole fly with dub here, and that's going to be perfect for what we need this to do. Now, as many of you have seen, I get pretty picky on my feathers. A lot of times I'll peel one side and all that. Look at this fly. It is scruffy. It is mean. It is meant for business. And so we're going with the classic cape feather because, in my opinion, it matches the rest of the style of this fly and just gets some nice wiggle movement as we work through that dubbing. Let all those fibers pop off of that hackle and just slowly work your way forward. So this is about the 5th wrap here, and I really want to utilize as much of this feather as I can. So there we are, and that's stuffed with hackled goodness. Gently grab that wrap. What we're trying to do here is tie off the feather while at the same time not get into the back side of that head too much. And if you do tie that head forward, I'll show you a little trick here. Trim out this feather and one piece of dubbing there. What you can do is go ahead and pull that head upward, get all those fibers cleanly out of the way of the eye, and then work your thread in there a few wraps. Keep working it, working it. Try not to trap anything underneath, but you see there, now I've just tilted that head ever so slightly upward. And before we finish this, let me trim out these nuisance fibers here. Like so. Alright. Move that thread back again to behind the head. And again, take your time, get your bobbin out, or bodkin, excuse me, and separate where the hairs for the head and the hackle fibers meet. And at this point, I've got one that's just not going to cooperate, and I'll have to deal with that. But there we go, whip finish time. And for this fly, I just need one good whip finish, and then I'm going to get in there, trim that thread out, like so. Any last minute housekeeping, this is the time. A couple fibers there, but I'm happy with that. And now it's time for just a touch of cement. Be careful here that you don't get a lot of cement riding into these hackle fibers, because it will travel, and it will travel upward to the tips, and then you have a bunch of matted hackle fibers, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a bunch of hackle fibers. So take your time, put all that effort into making a cool fly. Just have a little bit more patience and put that glue or cement exactly where it needs to be. And there we have it, folks. This is the Search Merger, and this one's a Caddis. Big, beefy, scruffy, and ready to be eaten. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like this, be sure to hit subscribe, and a like would be great. And we will see you guys on the water.